You are live, lady.
All right. Hey, hey,
Looks like
hey.
it's
Ladies. All right. Let me get in here. Give me 1 more minute. I had a minor crisis. All my supplies aren't here. I just went to get everything out, and it's nice having drivers. So my son is bringing everything to me right now, but that's okay because we have some time to set up. So let me go ahead and see. Hi, Miss Paula in Fresno. Good for you. You must be visiting Chicky. Go ahead and open up my screen and I'll look from comments. Hi, Miss Gail from the sewing room. I'm going to put this over here. Let me get everything together. Are you excited? We're going to be doing some fun stitching. So let's go ahead and get our little bits and pieces ready first. So we are going to be doing, we're going to start out with fabric. Do you like my book? Do you like how it's just come apart? It just ripped right out because I was so rough with it. Hello, Tony from Montana. Hi, Miss Robin from Sacramento, Roseville. We've got all our ladies here. Okay, I am going to pre-quilting. Let me get my pre-quilting guide. I had put this, I added this to the Facebook group. So there's a file on there. I can't even remember what it's called, but if you look in the Facebook group, I loaded 2 PDFs. One was a supply list, not this one because I actually didn't print it. This was the one from last week, but there was a supply list. And then I also created this little spreadsheet so that you can see, we've already did sections 1 and sections 2. So you could see what section we were going to be on, 3 and 4. And it tells you what the blocks are, what page it's on, if we're doing the quilting, what size or what quilting design, the final size of the quilting design so we can find it, the batting requirements, so you could have cut all your batting, and then your hoop size, which I was just loading it and it actually won't fit in the 9.5 by 9.5, but it'll fit in the 7 by 12 and the 8 by 12. And then if you have something bigger, of course, it's going to fit in there. So, and part of this was just from the quilting designs. If you're not using the quilting designs, don't worry about it. You're just going to hoop up, and when we get to the applique part and all the embroidery, then you're going to be working with us. So you don't have to worry about it. It doesn't mean that you can't do it with us, but I am going to be pre-quilting. So let's look at what we did last week. This is last week's. And if you haven't gotten it done yet, you're okay. You can still work on it. We did some of the blocks in the sew along. So we did this one, and this one, and then this little one. When I got home, I was like, you know, I have some more time. Let me try and pre-quilt, see how it goes. And so I did, I think I started with this one. I posted videos of all of these. Hi, Miss Joyce. I posted videos of all the ones that I pre-quilted. So I pre-quilted this. And then I went ahead and I just pieced some of these together and did the quilting in the hoop. The pinwheels, I did all my pinwheels all at once, and I posted a video sewing the pinwheels, and I think I also posted quilting the pinwheel. So that's all on there. I can't remember. I don't think I pieced this on film, but then I didn't do the border pieces. If you want, I can do those because we'll probably have homework again, and I can go ahead and piece those. But I mean, look how cute it is with the quilting in the background. Isn't that so cute? And I told myself I'm either going to be spending the time up front or on the back end. So if we do it up front, we'll just go ahead and have the quilting done now. These quilting designs I purchased directly from Kimberbell. As a retailer, we can't sell them. They don't make us, that you have to buy them directly from Kimberbell. And if you are going to get them, we'd love it if you used our affiliate link. And I think I put that in the supply list. You could just go to our website, go to promotions, And then all the way down on the promotions page, there's a direct link that you can go to the quilting. We do get a little credit for that. We always appreciate that. But it just looks really cute with all of the quilting done ahead of time. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to talk to the ladies that are not going to be pre-quilting. If you're not pre-quilting, and these I'm just going to leave. I'll go back and finish those up later. But from here on out, I am, like I said, I am going to be doing the pre-quilting. It adds maybe, I'd say probably adds 10 minutes or something like that, 10 to 15 minutes per square. So if you are not pre-quilting, what I want you to do, ladies, is I want you to get your 6x10 hoop. So you're going to use this hoop. You're going to need stabilizer for this hoop. So
I have a question.
okay.
Did the little cottage that you did, the little candy cottage, is
It's a pre-order, and I'm going to do it as a deal of the day. So if
Okay.
you want to get Barbara's information,
okay?
and I'll email her when it's out. But next week it'll be a deal of the day. All right. I came back here. I got to show you this because I was like, I brought this cutting mat back here, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, look at that! And I was so embarrassed, but I'm showing it to you anyways. So I try to get it out of the camera's view. The instructions, I sure hope I can get well soon. Oh, yes, Cheryl, I didn't know that you weren't feeling well. I hope you get better soon, too. This is just a piece of tearaway. The instructions called for no-show mesh, or it calls for a light cutaway. But I really like to use the tearaway because I just feel like it's easier to work with. And if you look at the instructions, it's going to tell you, and we can look right here at our handy-dandy little chart. Fabric Shelves is on page 18. 18, ladies. And if you're having trouble finding the page or finding the files, I know that can be confusing. Just reach out and I'll send them to you directly. So it wants you to mark the center of the background fabric, cut your stabilizer larger than the embroidery hoop, tape your fabric to the center of the stabilizer. So our background fabric, here is everything that I have for this block. What you're going to need, if you're quilting, you need your 7x11 piece of batting. This is from something else. This is your background piece. It's the white with the orange polka dots. The cabinet is actually in the black, so you're going to have the black fabric, and then this is going to be for the inside of your shelves. And that should be all your fabric that you're going to need. So I always just finger press my center mark. So I'm going to go ahead and finger press that. If you want to use a friction pen and you want to mark it, you can do that too. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to tape it down to your stabilizer. I'm all out of sorts, ladies, because like I said, I'm waiting for my 16-year-old driver to get here. So I'm going to put it on the side because I want to see the center marks. This is just a little bit of Kimberbell tape. Left side of the hoop, arrow on the top. And we're just going to put it down, and I know it's hard to see, but if you can kind of see my center mark right here. If I just put this down right here, I'm going to put that on my center marks. Do you see that better? I think you see that better. And I can see my center marks. I can see the shadow of it. Okay, if I'm doing it like this, sometimes I'll just squeeze my stabilizer and everything around here. I'm going to pop that in. And then we are ready to go. This is how you're going to hoop if you are not doing the pre-quilting. Hi, Miss Nancy. If you are going to be doing the pre-quilting, and then you're going to load your design. If you're going to be doing the pre-quilting, let's go ahead and load our design. And we're not even going to do this. I already loaded it earlier, so I know that it is 6.5 inches with the quilting by 10.5 inches. So 6.5 by 10.5. Thank you.
Should I give Kai the sushi for
Go
dropping
ahead.
this
Go
here?
ahead.
Do you want a bite?
It's fine. Just go. I'm going to put this to the side. if you're pre-quilting, what I like to do is I have strips of muslin that I've cut. And I like, somebody had put a note in and they said, why do you use the muslin? I like muslin more than no-show mesh. There's times where I use the no-show mesh, where I want a little bit more support. But I love the muslin because it's really, really soft and it feels good in a quilt. And I feel like sometimes the the no-show mesh can make it a little stiffer. So I find that this is just enough. And we carry the muslin in the store in a 60 inches wide and 90 inches wide. So I just buy the 90 and I cut long strips. And these strips are going to work with my 5x7 hoop. So it'll work with, I brought like every hoop this morning when I was packing up. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to need. So if I'm using, that's enough of this. Here it is. So it'll work with my 5x7 hoop if I hoop this way. Do you see how it's going to just fit? And if I use my 8x12 this way, it'll work this way too. Then I think I cut it 12 inches. Yeah, so I cut it 12 inches. So just a 90, I cut my 90 wide and just a 12 inch width of fabric. And I just keep hooping on there. And then I cut another piece that was bigger, this piece, because I needed that to use with the 9.5 by 9.5, which I felt like a lot of the blocks that I worked in with the quilting, it bumped up and I needed it to go into this size. And this was, let's see, 17 inches or 18 inches. So this piece was 18 inches. And do you have to use muslin? No. If you love no-show mesh, I want you to use no-show mesh. Whatever makes your heart happy, I want you to do. So I'm going to be hooping up in my 8x12 hoop. And I also have a 7x12 hoop too, but you know, we're just going to hoop this way. So I'm going to grab my piece of fabric here, my muslin, and I'm just going to hoop it like this, and I'm going to pay attention to which way I'm hooping, because our design is going to kind of be here in the middle. Once I combine my design for my edit page, I always take my design, I'm going to shove it down here so I have all of this. I don't stitch right in the middle. A lot of the things I do, it's just kind of being, I don't want to say frugal, but I just hate waste. So I make it so it just fits. And I put that in upside down. So if you look at this hoop, there are my arrows. The arrows have to point to the arrows on the hoop. This is the, I'll turn it, see. I'll just go ahead and hoop this up. And tighten it just a tad. I have two 8x12s, and I didn't realize this is the one I grabbed. This one is actually broken, but it still works. Sometimes if I'm really working and I'm working on two things, so I'm going to hand tighten that. Everything's nice and flat, so I don't need to pull any of that stuff out. And you should always tighten it a little bit more. Oh, my son brought my tray. Maybe my hoop tightener's in there. Let's see. So just where it's comfortable, never where you're straining, and that looks good to me. So I am hooped up and ready to go. I'm going to take this over to my machine. All right, let's load the design. Okay, so I'm going to go in here, and the design, I'm going to refer to my handy dandy little sheet. If I can find it. I had two of them. Well, I can't find any of my handy dandy little sheets. Hang on, let me turn my page. Maybe it's in the... Oh, here it is. Sorry about that, ladies. Okay, here's my handy dandy little sheet. We're going to do fabric shelves right here. So it's page 18, but the design I want, we're going to put our quilting design in first. And our quilting design is going to be Halloween 3. So we're going to go in here to embroidery, and I loaded my designs. Let me see if I can get this down lower too. Here's my USB. And I am going to, I have them all in here and they have the name. So we're looking for Halloween 3, which is this one right here. So let's go ahead and put that in. And then I have embroidery files and instructions. And we're going to go block by block. And the size that you're going to put in, they show the designs with the finished size. I know the instructions is going to tell you to, like when you look at the quilting instructions, it tells you in your quilting instructions to choose the, to locate the trimming instructions for the blocks you're completing and find the size the block is trimmed to, referred to as the trim size. So ours is going to be, and I put it on the sheet for you so you don't have to really even think too much about it, 6 by 10. That's going to be the final size. So we're looking for a design that's going to be 6 inches by 10 inches. So this is 4 by 4, and then we have 6 by 10. Pay attention because there are 2 6 by 10s. So one of my 6 by 10s is for the design if the design is vertical. And the other one is for if the design is horizontal. So we're doing the vertical one. I'm going to put that one in. And that is going to tell you how big your design is. Right here, my design's 6.5 by 10.5. Just too big to fit into the 6 by 10 hoop. So that's what bumps us up. So the next size hoop it'll work in is a 7 by 12 and then the 8 by 12. And then you could go to the 10.5 by 10.5 and something bigger than that. So we have our background quilting. We are going to combine that. We're going to add. So now we're going to go ahead and add. And now we're going to add the fabric shelves. So that's going to be, I have here a file. And we're looking for the fabric shelves. And we're going to do it all together. We're not going to just do the quilting on the fabric. We're doing it all together. Here's my design. And we're going to hit set. And we are done. So what we're going to do, so this is my design. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit embroidery. And I'm going to do one last thing. Once you take this to your layout page or your second edit page, your design is, look, it moves all as one. See that? So it combines them and it groups them. I'm going to put that right back to center again. So I'm going to move this button down here, puts it back to center. I'm looking at my fabric and I'm going to change my hoop size. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to change my hoop to my 8 by 12. And I'm just going to move it straight up. And that way, all the fabric down at the bottom of my hoop, I'm not going to be wasting that. So I'm just going to move it straight. Whoops. I just want it to stay within that hoop. Because that gray line there shows me my hoop. All right. So I've moved up as far as I can. And if I had, actually, I moved it. The reason I moved it, and once you put your hoop on, I didn't have my hoop on before I moved it. Once you put your hoop on, look, it won't let you push outside of that line. Did you know that? Well, I'm on Solaris today. But I love that because you're not going to go one stitch over. When your hoop is on, it'll keep it in that parameter, which I think is just amazing. All right, let's go ahead and let's look at your instructions for quilting if you haven't done the quilting before. First thing it's going to do is it's going to do a placement line for your batting. And I'm just trying to turn it to a page where it has, do I have pictures in here? I just have it memorized. I don't even know if I do. So I'm going to walk you through the steps, ladies. First thing it's going to do, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to hit layout again, layout, and yours might say edit. First thing it's going to do is a placement line. Whoops, you know what? I have no bobbin thread. Everyone check your bobbin thread. It will not stitch well without it. So let me go ahead and put a bobbin in. It's always so hard I get frazzled because I want everything to be perfect for you ladies. I want everything that I do to be perfect for you. So I just put in a white bobbin. And in the upper, I'm just going to put something that will quilt pretty on this background fabric. So I think I'm just going to go, because there's going to be batting underneath it, I'm just going to go with a white, because I think the white will look nice. I've been doing a lot of white on white. Let me go ahead and put that in my upper. You're not going to see it really well on here. Okay, go ahead and stitch. And we're doing the placement line for the batting. I want you to grab your piece of batting. It should be 7 inches by 11 inches. And I talked about this in some of the videos, but you have a right side and a wrong side to your batting. The right side is a little bit smoother. The wrong side is more dimpled because the needle punches through and it leaves a little bit of a nub on the wrong side. So you should always put it with your right side up. Let me grab some spray. Don't spray at your machine. You should have like a spray box or something. And don't be too crazy with your spray either. It doesn't have to be. Remember, we're not spraying like it's the 80s and we're spraying our hair. When you're laying this down, I want you to look at your stitches so I can see my stitch here and here. Let me turn this down a little more. And you just want to verify that your batting's going to be outside of both of those two stitches, and you want to verify it's going to be, your batting's above the top. You can always fold it back here and I can see. And just gently kind of push it down. Next step, it's going to be the tack down. So we're going to go ahead and stitch this down and get your applique scissors, because then we're going to trim. How many of you are stitching, doing the quilting with me? And if you're not doing the quilting with me, hang tight. After we do this, then we're going to start with the embroidery. And I really just use all of my batting scraps. Keep everything, and I use it for things like this. Can you ladies hear today? Can you hear me? Because I'm using the, we have like a mic. So hopefully you can hear. Thumbs up. I'm so impatient. I start cutting. This is where I lose Miss Kathy D. So I want you to go ahead and just trim all that batting. Then it's going to do a placement line for our fabric, and we'll lay our fabric down. And if you need to slide your hoop off, slide your hoop off. Don't let me influence you. I'm just, I'm super lazy, so I know that I can just trim it in the hoop. We could toss this one. All right. So there we go. Next step, and you can look at your screen. I know it's hard to tell because it's just a box, but that's going to be your placement stitch for your background fabric. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. It's going to be outside of your batting because when you go to stitch it, they want you to stitch outside the batting so it's not super bulky in the seam. So grab your background fabric. Here's my background fabric. I'm going to give it a little shot of spray to the back. The quilting design is not part of the CD. The quilting designs are separate, and you can buy it through our affiliate link on our website, or you can go directly to Kimberbell and get those. What I love about this quilting design pack, it's going to be the same pack that they use for the home is where the haunt is. So I already have these center lines. I don't know if you can see them right there. I'm going to line those up with the center line of mine. Oh, you know what? I can't do that. I can't do that because remember I moved my design up. So I did spray it. I'm just holding it lightly. I'm going to fold this in quarters. And then I'm going to kind of eyeball from here to here. So center of this, center here. And I'm just going to lay that quarter down, open it up, lay it down this way. And I'm just going to press it down. You're going to be trimming off, so don't worry about it. Just make sure it's not too far over one side or the other. Now we're going to do the tack down. So I'm just going to hit start again. So Nancy, they have all sorts of quilting designs, and you can buy the quilting pack, or you could just buy individual designs. And when you buy the designs, they come in so many different sizes. So we're going to be using Halloween 3. And if you look at Halloween 3, I'm going to show it to you. Is this Halloween 3? This is Halloween 3. But it comes in all of these different sizes. So there is a size for every single block. And if you don't have a size for your block, if you're on, depending on your machine, you can blow that design up or down a little bit. So whatever size you need, they're going to have it, whether it's going to be like a sashing design or just a regular block. So that is done. If we look at our screen right now, now it's showing the actual quilting. So I'm just going to hit start. I have white in there. Make sure you have a color in there that you like. After we're done with this quilting, then we're going to go ahead and we'll start the real embroidery for the design. This is going to be 5 minutes, and then that block is quilted and ready to just sew together with the other blocks. Yay, I love that it's loud and clear, and so funny because I was thinking, oh, where's Hey Girl, and where's where are these people? And I see them on YouTube. You ladies are on YouTube. Hi, Miss Debbie and Kathy, and who else is over there? Miss Anna and Tony and JB. Hi. How cute is that? I'm telling you, I couldn't resist. Once I started doing the quilting, I know those designs, they're an investment. Because they're not cheap. I mean, you get the individual designs, $6 or $8. But the packs, they're not cheap, but they give you so much. You have so many different designs to work with. I wonder if you could see it better from a different angle, but it's pretty adorable. Let's put it like that. Okay, let's get our fabric ready. So I showed you what pieces you need to have ready. Our design's on page 18. The first color that's really going to make a difference is going to be, the top colors are neutral. Remember, that box means the color really doesn't make a difference. The first color that is going to make a difference is that kind of like light brown. So I'm going to go ahead and find something that's going to be appropriate. Theirs is kind of like a light gold if you look at the pictures. I'm going to use this. I would be so excited to finish off this spool. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. How many of you got sections 1 and 2 done? And ladies, if you, when you go to do your pinwheels, I want you to just do them all. Just do them all and just get them all done with. I have mine. I can't remember how long the video is, but I think it took me maybe like an hour and maybe it took me like an hour and 20 minutes. I'm pretty anal. So I just went ahead and did all of them all at once. Don't look at my center there. That one didn't. That one was pretty perfect. But I did them all. And then, I mean, if you have them done, I can show you how to quilt them in the hoop too. Kind of the way that we're doing this. It was a lot of work. Section 1 and 2, that was like no easy feat. I was like, wow, I really gave those ladies a lot of homework to do. I stayed up until like 2 o'clock in the morning on Monday night because I wanted to have them done for you on Tuesday. Not that you care, and I wanted to have everything filmed that we weren't able to cover in class. So don't worry, whatever we don't cover in class today, I'll make a video. Now these are on there. There's a video where I did these, and that's already posted. So this means, ladies, I'm going to be doing all the quilting before, like, it's going to be done as we're doing each square. If you've done the pinwheel, this one right here, and this is how I sat down and I looked at everything, and then you sew this one and this one together, then you can go ahead and you can quilt all of this in one hooping. You don't have to do this separately and this separately. So I didn't stick completely to the quilting guide because I was like, why am I going to hoop something just to do this? Let's sew these two together and then let's quilt it, because guess what? There's a size there that's going to fit this block once it's sewn together. Okay, we are ready. Everyone can kind of join in for this. If you're not doing the pre-quilting, we're set to go. I'm going to load this color in right now because that's going to be the first color we're going to see. So I'm going to take my white out. I'm going to put this little toasty brown in. And let's refer to our instructions so I don't lead us astray. And ladies, you're watching out for me, right? We are now on step number 1, which is to stitch the fabric shelves placement line. And then we're going to place our fabric shelf fabric right side up, and that's going to be the black fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch the placement line. And let me grab my black fabric. I'm going to give this a little shot of spray to the back. And if you're just doing the regular embroidery, you can be working your 6x10 hoop. If anyone needs hoops, let me know. I'll make you a little deal on them. I'm going to slide this down a little bit just so I can get my fabric on. Oh, there's a lot of fabric here. I gave it a little shot of spray to the back. If you're not using spray, I would recommend that you definitely tape it down. Did I cover that enough? I sure did. And my fabric is all hairy because Momo wants to lay on whatever I'm working on. It's got to be the center of attention. Get your applique scissors. This is step 2. This is stitch the fabric shelves tap down line. Then you're going to trim your fabric close to the stitch. I'm going to grab my snips for this. Here we go. I'm ready. If you ladies ordered Home of the Haunt, or no, I'm sorry, it's Home is where the haunt is, or I can't remember what they're called anymore. The pillow. If you ordered your fabric kit for that, that's going to be ready for you to pick up tomorrow. And I'll send you an email tonight so you can let me know what color you want on for the outside part of the pillow, because you can have the white with the black with the white polka dot, or you can have the this fabric. I'm gonna use this fabric because that fabric's so fun. I love the snips because I feel like you can get really close, and I feel like these for me are easy on my hand. And sometimes when I'm cutting with these, I forget if I'm left-handed or right-handed, because I find it so easy to cut with both hands. Did anyone have a favorite block from last week? I loved empty bobbins. Empty bobbins lie here. I loved the sewing machine. Oh my goodness. I love this quilt. This quilt makes me so happy. Quilting, it's full.
Full?
Yeah.
So it's $69.99 and then 40% off, or 50?
They can have 50. Okay, let me give it to them. Miss Kathy, are you stitching with us? Did I cut too fast? Slide on that hoop. Who's just watching? So that's on there. Now we are on step. Let's look at our instructions. We are going to be doing step 3 right here, which is going to be stitch the back panel placement line and place your back panel fabric right side up. That's going to be that grayish fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and just put my foot down and start stitching. And this is the fabric you're going to be using. It's kind of like this. This gray is so interesting, I think, because this gray it's kind of got a bluish hue, and then it's also kind of got, I don't know, like a bluish grayish hue to it. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a little shot of spray. I did order all of the Kimberbell solids, so those should be in the store probably by the end of the month. We'll do a special on them when they come out. And just so you know, ladies, we're doing grunge right now, 20% off in the store. So if you need any grunge, because did you see all my empty bobbins is so cute with the grunge. Look how cute empty bobbins is. Doesn't that look adorable? It looks so much like a real tombstone. Now, if you have a sewing machine next to you, I would be doing some piecing. And I would go ahead and you could piece these two together. I might hop on the sewing machine in the other room so I can show you how to quilt those if you put those together. All right, my background fabric is sprayed. I'm going to go ahead. This is for the shells. I'm going to just put that down. I gave it a little shot of spray. And ladies, this is the best. It's Ganol KK100. I think it's like $12.99 a bottle, and it is fantastic. That would be in my top 10 embroidery tools. That would be in there. It'd be in my list. Oh my God, do you think I should have, how cute would it have been if I had done grunge, like a brown grunge that really looked like shells? Or maybe like white. Don't you think white would have been gorgeous? And then it would have been country chic, just like Joanne Gaines. I love her. But I didn't think ahead of time. So we're just getting what came in the fabric pack. I keep thinking, ladies, that that we should do a Kimberbell challenge, and our Kimberbell challenge should be to take a Kimberbell design and totally reinvent it. Like create something crazy and wild, and maybe put together different quilts, or use fabrics like the non-Kimberbell fabrics and use something so it gives it a totally different look. What do you ladies think of that? Don't you think that would be really fun? And then after these are done, step number 4 says trim fabric close to stitch. So now you're going to go ahead and trim, and you're going to trim in between these shelves too. So go ahead and start trimming. I like to hold my fabric straight up. You want to keep your scissors flat like this, not tilted. The right tools make a big difference. And even if you're not from town, if you need anything, you can just reach out to me. I can put together some things for you if you needed anything. I think I'm a pretty fast trimmer. What do you think? I'm pretty slow at a lot of things, but maybe it's my superpower. Trimming, sleeping, eating Funyuns. I love Funyuns. And trimming. If somebody said, what are you really good at? I'd have to take sleeping off of there because, I don't know, is it hormonal? But I'm not as good a sleeper as I used to be. You take that kind of stuff for granted. How about I slide this down a little bit so I can actually get to it? Right. There we go. If you have a little piece of tape and you kind of want to clean that up, because I do have some frayed pieces, you can always grab a little piece of tape. Okay, and this, I don't know, don't even worry about that. We'll deal with that later. I'm going to slide that back on, which I already did. And now we are on step 10. We're halfway through, at least we're halfway through the steps, and it says here, stitch, let me show it to you. Stitch the shelf bottom detail, and that's going to be in that toasted color that I have in there right now. But you could use gold. I think that they had gold in the thread kit. This is 6 minutes of stitching. So ladies, I don't have my sewing machine here, but I'm going to go ahead and let's look at other parts that we can prep, because there's going to be, the black is going to be 26 minutes of stitching, so we're going to want to use our time efficiently and effectively. So if you look at the section that we're doing right now, there's a pinwheel and then there's the fabric that gets pieced to the bottom. I'm going to hop on the machine in the other room and I'm going to go ahead and piece these two together 1/4 inch just at the bottom. For section 4, we have this. We have those two little pieces right here, the striped and that one. I'm going to sew those two together, and I say we sew those two, and then we could go ahead and we could. Does that sound too scary to you? We could go ahead and quilt this whole thing, and then do the pumpkin. Does that sound exciting? Like, wow, we're living on the edge at A1 Vacuum and Sewing. So I'm going to go ahead. I think we should do that. I think we should do that. And we'll look at our design and just make sure we load it so this is high enough up. Right? Don't you want to save steps? Otherwise, what they have you do, I'm going to turn to the quilting designs. they want you to quilt these two together and then this one. But that's so little. I think we should quilt all of that together. Don't you think? And I can show you how to do that. So hang on. I'll be right back. It looks like this is halfway done. I'm going to just go ahead and piece these two things together. ladies. This is getting ready to be done. And next thing we're going to do, let me open up my instructions. is it wants to stitch the spider detail step number 6 in black. So go ahead and put your black thread in, and it's making a little spider. Let's see if this will zoom in for us. Right here at step number 6, where it's kind of coming down on the top left-hand side, right there. So go ahead and put in your black thread. Oh, look at this. Pretty good. I think this one's a goner. We should get rid of that. Bye, Miss Anna. Let me put in some black. And stitch out the little spider detail. And after this spider detail, it says stitch the fabric shelf satin outline. That is going to be your 26 minutes of stitching. Okay, I feel like I've learned with little things like this, it's just better to put in a black bobbin. I just feel like sometimes the stitches, you just see the white in the background. So let's do it right. Let's make it gorgeous. I'm going to put a black pre-wound bobbin in there. And I'm going to just use it for the next 2 steps. And then I won't have to think about it at all. It's not in your instructions. They don't tell you to change it out. But why not? So I'm going to let it go ahead and stitch up. Ooh! Never hit my threading button. If that happens to you, just go back. I'm going to hit this button. I'm going to go back to the very beginning of the block. I'm going to pull my little loop so it doesn't stick up. And now it's going to do all the black stitching on the cabinet. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. And I will see you in 26 minutes.
Recognize it as a passport. So they,
Hey, ladies, while this is stitching, I did go ahead and I pieced this together. So if you have this and your pinwheel is done, let's go ahead and just press it, get it ready. Let me heat up my iron. not my best press. So I like to press my seam, and I know a lot of people will press it front and back just to set the stitch. I usually just press from one side. My iron's still heating up. I can't even wait. It's still blinking red, which means it's not totally done, but okay. And I'm just gonna go press it this way. So when you want to press it to the dark side, you just put your light side down. I always give my own little finger press. So that is ready to quilt. If you look at the quilt instructions, that is going to be, where are we? Right here. So it's this. And it wants to do a pattern at 20 and a pattern for 19. But if we measure this, where's my ruler? There is a half-inch seam, a quarter-inch seam allowance all the way around it. So it's 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches. So 4 by 6 is going to be the finished, the finished quilted design. So we would go in here. The design they want to use for, let's say for the pinwheel is 19. That's pinwheel. Oh, it's chevron 1. So we could go ahead and load chevron 1. And there's 2 4x6 designs. One that goes horizontal and one that's vertical. You could load either one, but I think that to me is more vertical. So I would just load this one. And that's what I'll end up doing when I quilt it. Okay? I don't know if that helps answer some questions. And if you find that that's too complicated the way I'm describing it, then what I would do is I would just go ahead and quilt this one separately and then this one separately and then sew them together. If you want to prep for section 4, why don't you go ahead and sew these together, and we'll make sure that we get to that. Oh my God, there's almost scraps. It's right here. That's coming up too.
Ooh, whatever you have smells good.
And ladies, I have a camera on my machine, so I can just take a picture and then load that design and make sure he's right where I want him to be. If you don't have that and you have your grids, we can use your grids too. It's a little more challenging, but still not so hard. We're maybe a third of the way in, a quarter of the way in. I'm going to go ahead and get all my fabric ready and organized for the next couple of blocks. Put that up here. We want, that is fabric shelves, Alma scraps. So that's going to be page 12. So all my scraps is going to have the green background. It's going to have the tombstone, and I already cut my grunge. Just love it. And if you are doing the quilting, Alma scraps, your quilting piece should be 5 by 7. That's going to be this right here. No embellishments, nothing else. I'm just going to go ahead and put that to the side. After that, we have pinwheel, and the pinwheel with the border block. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that, and that's 4 by 6. And I said to have some extra batting. Where's my pinwheel and border block? Here it is. So we're going to have this. If it's 4 by 6, and it's really easy to figure out how big your batting pieces are going to be, whatever your final size is, you're just going to add an inch to each one of those numbers. So if it's 4 by 6, then we need to cut our piece 5 by 7. So let me grab a piece of batting. I stuffed it in my bag. This looks pretty good. How big is this? We've got that's 7 and 5, and I don't even care about that part over there. It doesn't have to be totally perfect. And there we go. That'll be okay. I'm going to put that to the side. And that'll take care of those. If you want to work on your pinwheels right now, you can work on your pinwheels. And then for section 4, sit and stitch a spell. That is going to be on page, sit and stitch a spell is on page 35. So we're going to need your background fabric, which is the linen, right here. And then you're going to need the mustard couch, the velvet mustard couch, which is 7.5 by 3. Let me grit that out of my embellishment bag. I was talking to somebody, a customer that came in because we did the blanks. And I had such issues with some of my fabrics, some of my velveteen fraying. And she said what she did was she put shape flex on the back, then fusible woven on the back of it, and she didn't have any issues. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant. So if you want to stabilize it, you can. It's just being used for applique, so I'm not going to, but you could if you wanted. And then we need some flex foam. We need a 7.5 inch by 3. That should come in your embellishment kit too. And I'm not cutting mine down. I'll cut it later. Let's see. 7.5 by 3. 7.5 this way. Are we? We are 7. We're not quite 7.5, but we could go this way. 7.5 by 3. So I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna leave it like this, and I'll just put it over here. I'm gonna put everything else back, and then we're gonna have a soft, plush couch. I mean, cushy, just like we like them. Stay organized and put away some of my pins. It's kind of nice when you have something like this stitching out. You can kind of just, take your time and get organized. All right, and then as far as the batting piece for this one, 7 by 9 is the batting piece. Here is my batting piece right here. I'm going to put this all together. This with here, this with this. Have a little tag along. So that's going to be for the couch. For the border blocks, I'm not going to do that right now. The pumpkin pin cushion, page 33. That is going to be this background fabric, and it is 6.5 by 6.5. And then you're going to have the polka dot fabric. That's this polka dot fabric. I think that's the bigger one. So 4 by 3.5, and then the one with the print on it, and then the flex foam. So we'll see what we have left from that other piece. 4 by 3.5. It'll be close. Okay, and then we also have the batting, which is 5 by 5. Here is some batting, and there we go. Batting's going to be bigger if we do the border pieces together. Next one is the wire dress form. Oh, this one has so many cute ones. Wire dress form is on page 20. Here's our background. And it just has a bunch of stitching on it. So I'm going to put that there. Wire form background, 5 by 7 for the quilting. And it looks like we're a little more than halfway done with that design. And no extra embellishments. And we have all of the hoops. So let's go to the page with all of our hoops, which is 14, 15, and 16. Here is this one. This is our background. Our hooped fabric is going to be one of these. And our batting for all of these is going to be 5 by 5. Then we have Home Sweet Home is this. Our background fabric and our stabilizer, and then the last one is going to be the eek, which is this. Is our background fabric and our 5 by 5 piece of batting. And then we should have that's going to be all our embroideries, but let's look and see what our pieces are. That is pretty darn cute. We're going to have to do that. So section 3 We already did that, and we could have put that on, but we'll just sew that on later. We're gonna have to quilt this by itself. That background piece for this is, pretty sure it's this one right here. That's for the quilting. And then for section, this section right here, we need the stripe and then the little, these two. And I'm thinking we really want to, I'm going to be using my camera, ladies, or you can use your projector on the luminaire and the solar, so you have a lot of different options for that. I will grab, maybe I'll grab a grid too, so we can look at how you would line it up using your grids. But I'm going to go ahead and probably put these two together. I'm going to go back in the other room. I'm going to piece these two right now. So let's piece those two. And those two would go with, where's my pumpkin pouch? This is my pumpkin right here. I'm just going to do these separately. So I'm going to piece these together and then we'll quilt those separately. I will do this one separately so it won't be confusing. Let me throw that over here. I'll be right back as soon as these are sewn together. Okay, these two are stitched together. I'm going to go over here and let's go ahead and just press on. Something just fell off of my, what is this? Fell off of my filming arm. It's making me nervous. Oh, I found it. Let me screw that back on. Sorry if it's moving. It was like a little nut and it just fell right off, and you know how scary it is when things just fall apart like that. Okay, here's my light side. I'm going to lay my light side down. Just fold that back. Do it a little spray. Don't want to be too aggressive. And that is going to be ready to attach. That is going to be your little border block right there. Oh, look. Oh, no, I thought we were done, but we're not. Little bit of time left. Yay, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so the next step, when I'm looking at the screen, let me grab my book too. Make sure we're doing the right thing. It wants us to put in our gray, and we're going to stitch the shelf molding, which goes on top. So I'm going to put it in a medium gray. Let me go ahead and take out my black. I'm just going to leave my bobbin in. Here, I'll use this one. It's like my favorite, kind of, actually a little bit on the darker side, but and I'm going to go ahead and hit start, let it stitch that out. And the next color after that's going to be white. So it wants the white to stitch the thread spool, shelf detail, the spider web, then we'll do green and back to white. So get your white and your green. And this is 3 minutes of stitching. We need all our fabric for the bolts. Let me go ahead and put this up here. This is a good time to do some of that finish work too. So while I'm sitting here, I can go ahead and I can trim these jump threads. So I have a side hopper here, which I really, really like. And it's got like two little feet on the bottom, if you can see that. One's a little sharper than the other one. The right side's a little bit sharper. So I like to take that and put it underneath the thread and clip it to one side, and then you can just go ahead and clip the other side. And you might have to get it a couple of times, but I'm so thankful that my machine cuts jump threads, but when they're really close, they do not cut the jump thread. The really, really close ones, it just carries those along. So you have to go in and get them. Oh, is it my left one that's sharp? No, I think it's my right one. Just get it under there. Did I catch too much? Next color. Next color is white. I'm going to change up my bobbin because remember I have that black bobbin in there. So let's go ahead and change it out to white. I'm going to get a new bobbin because I don't want it to be stitching, then have to change it out immediately. I buy bobbins by the box, pre-wounds. And you want to make sure you're using machine embroidery bobbin thread because machine embroidery bobbin thread is a lighter weight than your actual embroidery thread. And it's the perfect combination. A little bit lighter in your bobbin and a little bit lighter than the upper thread. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and hit start. Oops, forgot to change my upper thread. Something just didn't feel right, so I didn't hit that start button. I am thinking... Hey Joyce, are you talking about you want to do, oh, 2 of those pillows? Yeah. Yeah, just go on. I think I have 4 left, and I might be able to cut more too. So just go on to the website and just purchase another one. And I'll have 2 for you. And do you want them one with the, I'll grab them. If you want one with the white polka dot and then the purple and green, it's up to you. I'll have a sample stitched out on, I'm determined, ladies. I'll have a sample stitched out on Tuesday. Maybe I'll get it done Monday and I can show it on Facebook or something. It's gonna be cute. Look how cute that little spool is. All right, and then the next step is also gonna be white. It is the spider web. So there's a little spider web down here. Just go ahead and put your foot back down and hit start. And then you're gonna need the green. I'm going to use this green right here. Best angle for you. And don't worry about the little rippling. We're going to go ahead and press it and it's going to look amazing. Okay, I'm going to use my green. I don't have a thread stand here. I'll just put it to the back of the machine and over. Did you know that works in a pinch? I guess that'd be like a little sewing hack. Right, and this is going to be, what is this? Oh, this is a jelly roll. Jelly roll and fat quarter fill. jelly roll, and then the fat quarter fills right here. And then after that, ladies, we are gonna do some of the other fat quarters, the fabric stacks. And oh, you know these are actually going to be rolled onto these little bolts, and then we're going to put them on. So it's not applique. We're not going to sew those on right now. Those will go on. They'll be dimensional. They'll go on later. For trimming, we're going to be using our 8.5 by 10.5 pop ruler with our 6.5 by 8.5 pop ruler. And ladies, if you don't know how pop rulers, you need them. And I am going to be doing a special probably next week. So I'll do something for you, and I'll let you know. But I'm going to have a deal of the day, and it's going to be a good one. And after this color, you need your white again. So get your white ready. Alright, let's get our white in. This is going to be some of our more of our fat quarter stack. pillow. These are going to be the 2 fabric kits I have. And I don't have the color picture, but it looks like this. So you can either have the border be this purple and green, or you can have it, and that's what they have in the sample, is they have it with the white and the black with the white polka dot. And it's 21 inches by 21 inches. So if you're interested in those joys, I have those. I think I had maybe, like I said, 4 left. But let's go ahead and put our next color in. So just finished out the white, and now it wants to have orange. Get your orange thread. Here's my orange. Why can't I remember the name of the pillow? Is it Home of the Haunt? Maybe that's it. Home of the Haunt. That's the name of the pillow. And this weekend, I'm going to be stitching it. I'm going to finish stitching sections 3 and 4. I'm going to do any homework that I have. And then I'm going to stitch out that pillow. So the next block we're going to do is, I laid them all out. We're going to do the tombstone. So we're going to do this one. So you should have this fabric ready next. The green, and then your tombstone fabric. That's going to be the next one. Is it all my scraps? I think that's what it's called. If you grab your handy dandy spreadsheet, we're going to be doing all my scraps, which is page 12, and our quilting design is celebration 2. How do you like that? I really did that for me because I was getting so confused. I'm like, I need to create a little spreadsheet. Look how cute this is, the little spider web down in the corner. I want you to go ahead and heat up your iron too, because we are going to press this before we trim it. Miss Judy, are you already at the next block? Am I like that slow? After the orange is the purple. And I'm going to be using this. It's like a plum purple. Are you ladies excited for Candy Cane Lane? The bench pillow? That I'm hoping very end of September. Let's just shoot for October. I'd just be happy if we can do it before the holidays with the way everything is being shipped these days. And then the next color is going to be the yellow. So get your yellow ready. to put the yellow in, and we're going to be doing the last fat quarter in that pack. Oh, it's cute. I haven't even looked at the instructions to see how they wrap the fabric on those bolts. All right, Miss Joyce. We'll see you later. And once we're done with this, we're gonna just take it out of the hoop, put it to the side. We're gonna hoop up for the next one, and then we'll trim this. I'll show you how to trim this when we're doing the other one. Alrighty, ladies, we are done with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and move this to the side. We'll pop it out of the hoop, and I'm going to put it over here by my ironing section. And what we're going to do next is let's figure out, we're going to load this design so we can confirm our hoop. So I'm going to come over here, and we're doing all my scraps. I was thinking about that, and I was like, I can never come up with something so clever. So I wonder if they have like a little think tank, or they hire somebody who's really good with words, or how do they do that? So we're going to go into embroidery. And if you look at our list, all my scraps is the quilt design that we're going to be using is Celebration 2. So we're going to go in here. Whoops, no USB. Did I push the wrong one? Okay, Celebration 2 is what I'm looking for. Right here, Celebration 2, embroidery files. And the size of the finished size is 4x6, and it's a tombstone, so it's vertical. So we're gonna go 4x6, 4x4, 4x6, and you have two of them. One's horizontal, and this one is up and down vertical. So make sure you choose the right one. Go ahead and set it. Now we're going to add to this, but you know right away, I can tell right here, it's 4.5 by 6.5, 4.5 by 6.5, so that's going to fit into my 5x7. The quilting design is going to be the bigger of the two designs. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add. Let's make sure the spreadsheet is good. So all my scraps 5x7. I have to fix this one, get rid of that 9.5 by 9.5. We're going to go to the pocket, to the USB. There's my designs, and we're looking for Here Lies All My Scraps. That's the one we want. Going to go ahead and set it and hit embroidery, and let's hoop our fabric. So as far as our fabric is concerned, I am going to use the same, I tried to tidy up a little bit, but this is what it looks like. I'm going to use the same piece of muslin, because remember this piece that I cut that was 12 inches by width of fabric, that's going to fit my my 8x12, and it's going to fit my 5x7. Take this off, going to get rid of this. I literally brought like so many. I brought like every hoop because I didn't want to get in a position where I had the wrong one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this. In the grand scheme of things, muslin it's pretty cheap. My blade has seen better days. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and hoop. And you don't want to stretch this too much. Like, you don't want to pull it, because then when you get it out of the hoop, it'll. All right, looks good. Let's go ahead and go over to the machine and we can start that while we're doing that. Then we can finish up the other one when it's doing the, all the stitching. Okay, first thing it's going to do is it's going to do the placement stitch for your batting. I usually have my fabric hanging to the left, but I wasn't thinking when I hooped it. Just don't want this to get. And there, I have yellow in there. I'm just going to leave it. Nobody's going to see any of this. They won't see the placement stitch. They won't see the tack down. I'm going to grab my piece of batting. And if you are just doing the embroidery, you are just going to take your piece of background fabric. You're going to center it on your stabilizer. You're going to tape it down. And then you'll hoop it. Just like the instructions say. If you are not doing the quilting, these are your instructions right here. You're going to start here with your hooping instructions, and then you're going to move on. All right, let me grab my batting. Make sure that you spray on the back side of your batting, not the front. Here we go. Let's put that down. Okay, and this is going to be your tack down. Just go ahead and stitch it down. Get your scissors ready because we're going to go ahead and trim. Isn't it so creepy, the squeaking of my filming arm, ladies? It's so perfect for Halloween. I was going to have Patrick oil it for me, but now I think I'll just leave it through the 31st of October. And let's trim it up. And I'm just going to go ahead and... So the nice thing about these scissors is they're curved on this end. So a straight pair would, I mean, even then it still goes into my batting a little bit, but a straight pair would really get stuck. You can kind of lean it back a little bit if you want. There we go. Okay, now it's going to do a placement line. I'm just going to leave that yellow in there. Placement line for your fabric. And that placement line, when it tacks it down, the tack down line, it's going to get sewn into your seam, so the color really doesn't matter. Here is my background fabric. I'm going to give it a little shot of spray to the back. And now I'm going to kind of center it. So I'm going to just take this. I'm going to pick which way I want my top or my bottom to be because it can be either. I think this is going to look best just because of the cauldron. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that. And it is sticky. I'm trying not to put my fingers on it too much. I like to just quarter it. And then I can just lay it down. I can eyeball it. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to move my design all the way over, but that would have saved me barely any room. So it's fine. And I can tell I'm further down. Do you see I have a little bit of space here and not much space there? So if I want to just lift it up a little bit and then reposition, I can do that too. That looks really good. Oh, my cauldron. After all of that, my cauldron was the wrong direction. There we go. Now we're going to do the tack down. I'm just going to leave my yellow in. Remember, it's a neutral color, it doesn't make a difference, and it's going to get sewn into your seam. The next color, though, is going to be the quilting. So figure out what you want to do your quilting in. I've done my quilting for this in like a light gray, and then I've also done it in just white. And I think, because this is going to be my tombstone, the yellow would look really cute too, wouldn't it? I'm going to take the yellow out, and I'm indecisive. I'm thinking I am just going to go with white. When in doubt, just go white. So, and if you look at your screen, you can see it's showing the quilting right here. So refer back to here and you can always see what's going on. I didn't cut my thread. If you don't cut your thread on the side, you can get these long loops. That's what happened to me. All right, let it do quilting. This one's going to be quick. It just says a minute. And then we're going to do the placement for this. I'm going to give my piece a little press. I've got some wrinkles in the middle. Oh, it's cute. I can't help myself. I can't stop saying that because it is. It's just so darn cute. Okay, it's going to be placement line for the tombstone. And let's just look at our instructions. Now we're starting. So if you are not quilting, you're doing the embroidery, now you're starting with us. So we're going to stitch the headstone placement line. So go ahead and put your foot down and do your placement line. Color does not make a difference. However, when I do pick a color, it says doesn't make a difference, doesn't make a difference. I usually look at the first color that makes a difference, which is the black. But I already have the white in there. I'm all about not duplicating my efforts or not doing more than I have to do. Grab your tombstone fabric. I'm using grunge. Look how amazing that is. I'm going to give it a little shot of spray to the back. And let's slide my hoop towards me so I can see. And we're just going to do the tap down. And the inscription is in black. So I'm going to use a pre-wound bobbin and I have my black thread ready. Get your applique scissors because we're going to trim this up. Back this up a little and I'll go ahead and slide this out. And you want to trim. Oh, you know what? I think the other headstone said not to trim. Do not trim fabric. Do not put it back in. Forgot I told you to do that. Or you need to take that off anyways to do your bobbin. If you did trim it, I don't think it makes a difference. I think I was talking about that when I was doing empty bobbins. I don't know why they're not having you trim. Maybe it's more stable, they think, if you just leave all that fabric in there. But I'm going to slide my hoop back on. Do not trim your fabric. If you did, it's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and change my upper thread to black, and we are going to go ahead and stitch out the lettering. Would it have looked fine if we had a white bobbin in there? It might, but I feel like I've stitched some things out and they haven't looked great, so I go, why take the chance? Let's just put in the black bobbin and know that it's going to look absolutely amazing. All right, start. Oh, I got a little loop-de-loop there. And this is going to stitch the inscription detail. And then you want to get a gray. You're going to do a gray around that tombstone or headstone. There's my gray. It's going to be right here and ready to stitch. This is 5 minutes of stitching, so just let it go, ladies. While it's doing that, I heated up my iron. I have my my wardrobe right here ready to press. I'm going to go over here to my pressing area. My iron's nice and hot. I'm going to press from the back side, and you want some kind of moisture. So I'm going to lay it on, I'm pressing from the back. So you're going to lay it on the front side and just go ahead, and I do have the best press in here. Sometimes I just use steam and water. All right. I always look at the fabric to go in my directional. Do I have to be worried about that? This is not directional fabric. You think I'd be able to remember it. And I usually will still go in one direction, and then I'll do the other direction. And then I'll flip it, and I'll go this way. Whoop! Those are my hoops. And I'm going to press until it's dry. And if I see any rippling anywhere, that's an area I really try and get it. And don't be afraid to get it from the front too if you have to. But when you get it from the front, you kind of flatten the thread out. So I really try to muscle it into that wool mat. You want to be pressing into a wool mat, or you want to be pressing into a OESD makes a press cloth that's really fantastic too. It made me a believer. I think I had a customer that went on a cruise and they used the OESD press cloth. I love it when you ladies share things with me. And then we used one of the stars, like, oh my God, I could never live without it. Now we're ready to trim this down. So that's still stitching. Let's go over to my cutting area. Here we go. I'll do it like this. Okay. So let's turn to our instructions. Just make sure I'm giving you the right instructions. And if you go back to the wardrobe, it's going to tell us, it says square finish block to 6.5 by 10.5. You're going to use your 6.5 by 8.5 ruler with the 8.5 by 10.5, and they nest them together. And first thing you're going to do is cut on the smaller one the left and the right. Then we're going to take out the smaller one. We'll cut the top and the bottom, and then we'll connect those cuts. So here are my pop rulers. Oh, and let's see if it tells us where to position it, because sometimes it wants you to cut like right on the bottom. Actually, with this is what I love. You have that outline stitch now. And so you're really going to be placing the rulers right above the outline stitch or right next to the outline stitch. Let's see if I can get it from here. So I'm going to put mine right in here. This will be right outside, and I know you probably can't see it that well because it is, I'm going to turn it towards me. Sorry, it's not going to be turned towards you. And I'm a good 1/8 of an inch outside of that stitch. And then this one is going to go outside of the other one. Let me do that first. And I'm just using the tack down stitch as my point of reference. This needs to come down a lot more. It needs to go this way. That looks pretty good. And I'm checking down here too, just to make sure it's not like too cockeyed, that this is going to be pretty even. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and do my first set of cuts. So first I'm going to do a set of cuts this way. And remember, lean your rotary cutter in a little bit. When I first got my pop rulers, I thought they were horrible. And then what I realized was they weren't horrible, it was me. And I just didn't use them the way they should. I'm going to roll this really slowly. And you can also hold the rulers down so those don't hit something, and then you're cutting cockeyed. Go ahead and cut here. This seems like a very bad blade. Okay, we did the 2 vertical cuts. We're going to take this out, and then we're going to do our horizontal and the one on the bottom. This is my bottom one. Oh my God. Hang on, I got to move this because my head's not over it, and I just went into my block. Sorry, hope you can see that. I was cutting kind of from the side. Okay. So wherever it didn't go all the way through, right here, you're just going to extend that up. So I have another little ruler with me. And I did go kind of a little bit awry, but it's okay. I just want to finish this one up. This is what happens when you don't cut from head on. I'm going to go. And here we go. Pretty cute. All right, we can go ahead and put that one to the side. All right, all my scraps. Let's return back to her. Here I come, all my scraps. Next thing it wants to do is it wants to do the outline stitch. So if you look over here, there we've got a gray outline stitch. You're going to put your gray thread in, but we do want to trim at this point. Do not just stitch. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to pop this forward, grab my snips, and let's go ahead and trim all that excess fabric. bobbin, since I'm doing a lighter gray, I'm going to put a white bobbin in. Let me take this out. And it's going to be 9 minutes of stitching to do this outer stitch. And then we'll look at our list and look at what we're going to stitch next. And maybe I'll show you how to do one of the, I'm going to show you how to quilt one of your blocks. Like I'll show you how to quilt maybe, we'll look at the blocks. And I'll show you how to quilt something like the pinwheel or something like that. Put this in. And let's go ahead and hit start. Let's see what's on our list. So the pinwheel. So if you ladies want to quilt the pinwheel, let's quilt the pinwheel. So you can see how to do that because this is, it's trimmed down. This one's already quilted and it's trimmed down to the size that we're going to sew it in. So it's got the 1/4 inch seam allowance on either side. We're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to do that. And then hopefully we'll have time. I don't think we'll have time. Should we do sit and stitch? Espel, that one might take longer, but I'm not opposed to that. Let me look at sit and stitch Espel on page 35. So we've got a lot of stitching that kind of goes around it. You've already done a pumpkin. You know what I think we should do because we've got 45 minutes? Let's quilt the, we're going to quilt the pinwheel and then we're going to do one of the hoops. So on page 14, 15, and 16 are the hoops. Everything that we're not doing, so let's go ahead and we'll do this one. Maybe that'll be super, super fast. That way you'll know how to do the hoops. Anything that we don't finish today in the sew along, I will do I'll do it probably by Sunday or Monday. Those are my days off. So I'll do those and I'll film them and then they'll get loaded to the website. Do you need me? Are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Is that fabric so cool? So Joyce, that's the grunge fabric, and we have grunge on sale through the weekend. So if you want some of that, let me know, or you can just buy it on the website, or just call me and I can cut some for you. But that tombstone fabric is so stinking cute, and I mean the other fabric's cute, but this is really cute. This is what's in the fabric kit, and that's fine, but that is amazing. Miss Anna, you back? And what is grunge fun? Does it say that on the website? Does it say grunge fun? I don't even know. And I am also working, and I gotta show you. Let me go grab it, because it's really cute. So this weekend, while I was stitching the Kimberbell out, I was doing some freestanding lace, because I just love to put stuff on my multi-needle. I feel like I'm wasting time if that thing is not running. So I stitched out the Candy Cottage, which I'll do, we'll probably do that as a deal next week, and that's the new OESD gingerbread house. And then I also stitched out, I'm almost done with the haunted house. So these are my pieces for the haunted house, but I use the grunge for these too, and doesn't that just look absolutely amazing? So I did this with, there was this lighter gray, I would call this the medium gray, the one that you're seeing over on these pieces. And then there is, this was like charcoal gray, so it wasn't the black, but it was pretty dark too. But it just looked, look at that. Doesn't it just look extra creepy? I bet that makes you so scared just looking at it. But hopefully I'll have this done for you next week. I set my machine to stitch well this morning when I came to the store. So I have one more piece to stitch out, and then I will be done with the spookiest haunted house you've ever seen. The thread kits? I mean,
No,
the scissor kits?
scissor kits.
No. But I just ordered, oh, if you look, I think there's scissors and stuff in the checker box. But I just reordered everything. But if she wants a kit, I don't have them for so. But, I know, we're out of, I didn't even know.
So when I sold the last two adjustable zipper feet, and
Oh,
I
you
sold
did?
one of the Teflon feet.
Okay, let me write that.
I'll send you an email.
Yes, if you could, that would be great. Let me order some of those thread kits.
The scissor kit.
Yep.
'Cause I don't
If you
know-
want, you can cut. You can show her mine.
Okay.
Although I have my snips out of here. These are the snips, and it's so dirty.
Right. So this is what the kit looks like.
Oh, Michelle. And Ferrari makes theirs too. It's so cute. Don't you just miss Shauna every time you say something high pitched about it being cute? You just think, where's my Shauna? Okay, so here lays all my scraps, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop that out. And I think what we decided we're gonna do is we are going to do the, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do the hoop. Oh no, I was gonna show you how to do the pinwheel. So let's do quilting on a pinwheel so you know how to do that. And I can go ahead and finish pressing everything else later. So I'm gonna grab this, and if we look at our instructions, section 3, here's the pinwheel. It's on page 38 and it wants chevron 1. So let's go ahead and load chevron 1. And you need a piece of batting that is 5 by 5. And these are kind of fun because you're gonna like kind of fit them in right where they go. So I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna go embroidery. And let's go up to chevron 1. Did I miss it? Halloween, wavy. Of course, it was the very first one and I missed it.
No.
And the end size, that's what we're looking for. So the end size is 4 by 4. So we're looking for a 4 by 4 square. And I like it this way. Like I like it to be horizontal, not vertical, but you could do vertical if you wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. And there's no design to add. We're just doing the quilting on this one. But this gives us an idea. It's 4.5 by 4.5. So we've got to go 5 by 7 hoop size. So let's go ahead. And I did one where I did multiple blocks in a hooping on a larger hoop. You can always do that too. You are not limited to doing one at a time. So I want you to think like, oh, could I, maybe it'll be easier for me to do several of them all at once. So here lies all my scraps. Who thought of that? Who's that? I'm really bad at stuff like that, being clever with words. I can barely speak. So I really, really, really admire people that that are just linguistically intelligent. This is the worst blade ever. I will replace that next time. Okay, I'm going to go back in my 5 by 7 hoop. How are we doing, ladies? Let me look and see how you're doing. Bad. There should be... Oh, Anna, you stop. Where's my Facebook group here? Did I lose it? Here it is. Okay. I think we're good. I'm going to go ahead and hoop this. I already put my design in. I think this muslin, and remember it's 90 inches, so that's like, you know, you get double. I think it's, is it $10 a yard? Something like that at the store. And I love it. It's perfect. It's like, because I like my muslin, you know, kind of see-through-y and nubby. I don't like it thick. I don't like the thick muslin. Not for, like, maybe if I was using it as a backing, but not for this. I went to a training with Nikki Brazel, and she said she buys just the cheapest when she uses it for her as her stabilizer. She was like, I just buy the cheapest muslin you can get. And I was like, okay, but I really like this one. It's kind of perfect. Okay, we are going to go ahead and we're going to start off. If you look at our screen, all that we have here is our placement line, our tack down, our fabric for our batting, and then our placement line and tack down for our pinwheel, and then it's going to do the quilting. So let's go ahead, and I am going to skip one step. I am going to skip the tack down stitch, and I'm just going to leave my gray in there. I'm skipping my tack down stitch for the fabric because this pinwheel is going to fit directly in that placement line for your background fabric. Here's my 5 by 5. I'm going to give it a shot of spray to the bumpy side of the batting. Just make sure you can peek underneath. Make sure it's going to be covered up by everything. Do you ladies remember last week when I cut my finger and I thought I was going to die? And then when I took off my Band-Aid, I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, it's such a little cut. It was so little. But what I ended up doing is I ended up, I don't know if you can see that, then my cut's here. That is where I really injured myself, and I did it. This is going to be so stupid by putting my Band-Aid on too tight. So it happened. I didn't have time to deal with it, so I was like, I'm just going to wrap my Band-Aid on super tight to make it not bleed anymore. And then I was like, and then maybe if I wrap it super tight, it'll just heal faster because the flesh will be back touching the flesh. And I left that Band-Aid on it probably, and I think I was in the middle of packaging something, so I was like, I don't have time to be dealing with bleeding. And then I left the Band-Aid on from probably around 2 until 5 in the morning. 5 in the morning, my finger was hurting so badly. So I got up and I took the Band-Aid off. And at that time, I couldn't figure out why the left side, the part I didn't cut, hurt so bad. And then every day I checked on it, it hurt so bad on the side I didn't cut it. And then Patrick looked at it and he said, you killed all the tissue, and you're gonna get gangrene. He told me I was gonna get gangrene. And then he told me I was going to have to go so go ahead and just put your foot down. Hit start. It's going to do the placement stitch for your background fabric. He told me they were going to have to cut off all my dead skin. They were going to have to clean it all out and cut it off. And then I started getting super scared. And then Patrick said, I have a brother that's a physician, so Patrick said, call him, send him a picture and call him. Okay.
Because you're going to get gangrene.
Yeah, he scared me. And so I sent it to my brother. And my brother, I said, am I going to lose my finger? Patrick said
I never said she was going to lose her finger.
Patrick, I sprayed the wrong one. That's not the one we want. Where's my
Hey,
pinwheel?
which two stabilizers should I give her?
I would do either a dissolve away and a tear away, or a no-show mesh. And I really want to show you how to do this, ladies, but I cannot find my pinwheel. Oh, here it is. Oh no! Remember this? Remember that? That we were going to do the whole thing? This is what happens when I'm telling stories. And I needed to cut this by 4 by 6. Let's pretend, because I am going to just not even do this now because I messed up. If you have just your pinwheel and you didn't sew it together, then what you're going to do is you're just going to lay it down and you're going to see that pinwheel is going to fit exactly in your placement stitch. Do you see how it's like right there, and it's going to fit exactly in there? And then you're going to do your last stitch, which is going to be the chevron.
Will this work for Miss Irene?
Yeah?
Yeah? She said she doesn't recognize these.
Those are duckbill applique.
Yeah, I know that, but she said she's not sure that that's what you told her about. I don't know, so
Well, that was Shauna's favorite.
yeah.
But
I like them too.
yeah. Then
Okay.
I would just share with her your experience. Okay, so and then you're just gonna put your foot down and you're gonna do that chevron stitching. I obviously can't do it because my piece has been pieced together. And again, I'm gonna look for the 4 by 6. I'm sorry about that, ladies. I was just thinking. Long story short, Joe told me, my brother, that I'm not gonna lose the finger, that it will heal from the inside out. Just so you know. All right, let's go ahead and halfway through, I'm gonna look at something really quickly, ladies, because because if you're okay with this pinwheel's 4x4 and it fits in a 5x5. Look, our boo hoop is going to be same thing, 4x4 and 5x5. So we can keep this. And I'm just going to take this off of here. But this is going to be right in the position it needs to be. I'm sorry if this is confusing for you. It wouldn't be a sew along with me if I didn't do something that wasn't quite right. So let's see which, because then we can keep this and we can go ahead with this. We've started it. We're just going to go ahead and we can add the design. We can add it later. So if you wanted to do all your quilting first and then do all the embroidery later, you could do that. So our boo hoop we're going to do this one. Home hoop. And the reason we're doing that, because it used chevron 1. It's going to use the same design that I was going to do on the pinwheel. So we're going to do chevron 1. And let's grab our background fabric for home hoop. Home hoop is on page 15. I'll give you a minute to kind of get reoriented. If you have your pinwheel and you just want to go along with your pinwheel, you can do that too. I just don't want to throw this away or start over with something when we can do this. Okay, here's home hoop, and it's going to be on that dark charcoal with black stitching on it. Yes?
Is this the hoop size you'd recommend if she wanted a third hoop?
She's got 5x7 and
8x12.
Yeah. No, I would do, for me personally, just 6x10, but I don't know if we have it in that one.
So.
But I love my 8x8. I love it. Here's home hoop. Everyone have that? What am I doing now? I don't know when you wrote that, Miss Kathy, but since this is all prepared and ready to go, and the quilt design that it asked for was chevron, which is the one I was going to do for the pinwheel, we're going to just do a quick change-a-roo, and we're going to do home hoop. So I want you to grab this fabric, that's your background fabric, and this is directional. So before you lay it down, I want you to look at it because it has witches, and I have mine upside down, but see my little witch right here? Make sure you put this down correctly. I'm going to go ahead, it did a placement stitch for the fabric. I'm going to give this a little shot of spray. Okay. Let's hope I have it right side up. Let me peek before I push it down. Yeah, got it the right direction. Let's see if it's over far enough. I'm going to feel right here, and I can feel that, so I know I have enough room. All right, I'm going to leave my gray in there because it's like a lighter gray, but you can put your white back in if you want. I'm going to go ahead and hit start, and it's going to do my tack down. And then the next step was going to be doing the quilting. So we're going to have to go back and we're going to add the embroidery design to this. See, everything is, you can make everything work. Everything is possible, ladies, everything. And now I'm just going to hit start, and it's going to do the chevron quilting background.
So that's the thick edge.
So this is what you would do if you brought in the background quilting and then you went and did the embroidery quilting. You don't need to do that because you load this design first and then you hit add. But since I was planning on doing the pinwheel and it didn't work out, now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to do the other square, which again is the home hoop. And let's go ahead and add that design. So as long as we don't move this up and down, everything's going to come in centered. So the next design is going to come in totally centered to this design, which I didn't move anywhere. So we're going to come up here. I'm going to go home, embroidery, and we're looking for home right here. And let's go ahead and set that. And it's going to be this one. Isn't that so cute with the cross stitch? Just love it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and hit embroidery. And the first step is going to be a placement stitch. I'm just going to leave my gray in there. Just hit start. And the fabric you're going to grab is going to be this piece right here, which is the gray linen. Are you all with me? Did I throw you for a huge loop?
So which one of these for Miss Irene for the Halloween?
Both of them. And tell her I'm doing a deal of the day next week at 40%.
Does it want me to give her that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give it to her now. All right. Let's put this fabric down.
So,
Oh, I gave my scissors away. Hang on a second. Michelle, do you have All right, tack down. Just hit start. Get your applique scissors ready and get ready to trim. And you need a color thread that kind of looks like this, like that light, it's almost like wheat. I'm going to use this. I love it. I love it. I love it. Do you remember, what was that, Martin Short? He did this skit on Saturday Night Live. Was it Martin Short? Or was it, I can't remember. I don't think it was Martin Short, actually. Okay, let's make sure it's asking me to trim now. So we are right here, and it is saying to trim close to the stitch line, and then we're gonna get the, see, why do they have you trim this one close to the stitch line and then stitch this? And the tombstone, they want you to stitch this and then trim close to the stitch line. So if you ever forget or you trim too early, I really don't think it makes a difference. We're trimming close to the stitch line. Okay. There we go. Looking good. Next step, black. Go ahead and put your black thread in.
Hey, Jeanne.
Yes.
Is there a thread kit for the Halloween?
There is, but I'm sold out of them and I'm not going to have any more.
Do you have a list of threads for it, or?
I think I could put something together.
So, she was just saying we sold out of the thread kits for hometown, but, so
So I How's it looking? Because I didn't change my bobbin thread out. Whoop. Okay, remember I was talking to you about that bobbin thread, and it looked really good here, but for some reason, I feel like I can see a little dot over here of the white. So before it goes any further, because that'll drive me insane in the membrane, I'm going to go ahead and take the white out and put the black in for the rest of the stitching. I can, Patrick, the supply list has a picture of the threads.
Of the threads. Do you want me to just make a note and we can put it together?
I'll put them together.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm gonna do, Irene?
Okay, I'm going to go back 10. That's better. Oh my goodness, I am so in love with cross stitch embroidery. So when I was, I want to say maybe in 4th or 5th grade, if you've ever been back east and you're from there, I went to Sturbridge Village, which is like a reenactment village of like colonial times, and I bought because you know you're kind of born this way. I bought a cross stitch set, and it was of the alphabet. Do any of you ever do that? And that was my first experience with handwork. And back in those days, you didn't have the internet. You couldn't look up. I don't know if my mom showed me how or how I did it. I think I just made X's. I'm gonna have to pull that thread out. Yeah, Joyce, the fabric kit for the pillow does include the embellishments. It does not include the pillow insert, which I do have, and it does not include the stabilizer, but it has everything else. This is when I grab this. I'm going to cut this out. This stuff will drive me crazy, so I'm just going to kind of grab that. Just snip it. Okay. Now it wants to stitch out this sweet home. So let's get my orange. Change of direction. Sorry for the change of directions. You almost have to be a little loosey-goosey here. So ladies, for homework, you're going to be responsible for the border block, which I have connected. Well, I have those two border blocks. So there's another border block, but you should quilt it. You can go ahead and quilt that. And then the embroideries you're going to do are sit and stitch, pumpkin pincushion, wire dress form, boohoo, and iku. And those two should be fast. If we have time, we'll do one more of the hoops. And while that one's going, we can come over here. Let me get my. I was just sitting there in my chair, just daydreaming, and I was like, "Wait a minute, we never finished Alma Scraps." Alma Scraps is semi-directional. Like you don't want to distort all that wording, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it, and I'm gonna press it this way, and then I'll come in this way, and then I'll go from the front a little bit and just make sure everything is laying nice and flat. I'm just going to get my iron just a sec. Come back over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my hoop with this, or you can do like this one's pretty good though. I'm going to use this. Kind of like, I don't know, I call it maybe flaxseed or wheat or maybe like a light tan. Let me look at the picture. I think that'll be nice.
What can I do discount-wise?
What?
Discount-wise on this?
You know whatever you
Like 30% on this?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Alright, so I like these are
Yeah.
what's the story for vacuum fabric?
What?
Vacuum
Oh, she
fabric?
could pick any yarn and a half.
She can pick any yarn in half. So,
Hang on, ladies. Sorry. Oh, God. I was distracted because Patrick came in here. He was asking me a question. This is supposed to be that steel gray. I'm really sorry about that. See up here, it's going to be that little hinge and then the thing that goes all the way around. So I'm just going to stitch right over that. This is a light enough color. Let me go back. So if I want to go back, I'm just going to hit this. It'll go to the beginning of that. Let me put that gray in. Let's just go right over it. This is step number 6. There we go. That's better, ladies. It'll just be a little beefier. And then we'll put in that little linen color. Maybe it's time to take a nap. Is it time, ladies? And now here is our hoop. You could use a gold too. Some kind of gold, a light tan. And let's go around. They're calling their color beige. Any beige. This is why I pre-record. And then I send you an edited video. And this is going to be 4 minutes of stitching. While it's doing that, let's go ahead and finish this up. My iron is nice and hot. And I'm just going to give it a little press, going back and forth, up and down. And then I'm going to switch this direction. And it's that wool mat. It's got like a little bit of rebound. So the design and the fabric can get pushed into it. And then the fabric can be right against that wool mat, and the wool mat holds the heat too. That looks nice and flat. Let's take it over and we're gonna trim it up. Okay, so when we go to trim this, our instructions, page 12, wants us to trim it down in the 4.5 by 6.5. So let's grab your pop ruler. And you're going to be at an angle, but I'm going to make it so my head is directly above this because last time I had some slight issues. And I'm going to frame this with my pop ruler. Let me see if you can see that. There we go. So you can see the yellow, and I'm just looking to make sure I'm, equally away from the yellow top and bottom. Like right here, I'm far from the yellow, so I'm going to scoot it down a little bit. Now I'm like touching the yellow in a couple spots. Turn it like that. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and trim it with my horrible seam ripper. I'm going to scoot this in front of me a little bit better. My horrible, not seam ripper, my horrible rotary cutter. I have another one with me. Let's use this one. Can't see it at all there, can you? And it's funny because I lined up more with my sides instead of my top and bottom. My top and bottom were more like that, but I figured, oh, he can be a little bit askew. That's going to be creepier. So sometimes you might have to choose. Are you going to line up with your top and your bottom or your edges? I went sides over top and bottom. And here lies all my scraps. Home sweet home. So it is 4:57, ladies. We are gonna wrap it up here. Let's stop while we're ahead and just go ahead and get your homework done. I will finish all the rest of these squares and I will film them and I will post them and I will edit them too. So if there's any mistakes, those get taken out and little notes get put in. I will see you then. Next week, we're going to do sections 5 and 6. I'll send you a supply list. And have a great evening. Thanks for joining me.